Hey guys, Skyride here. I'm actually outside, as you can see. I'm at a park that's behind my house. Feels really good out. We are supposed to have some like pretty high winds today, so I do apologize if the sound quality is bad. It's supposed to reach up to like 55 miles an hour and some crazy stuff. So hopefully that doesn't affect this too much. Although I am kind of in the trees now, so that should help. Anyway, I want to go ahead and bring you guys this video because as you guys know, obviously I haven't been putting out too much content when it comes to my Rahi weekdays type um, of videos, and there's a few reasons for that. Most notably, my own well-being, my own mental health, and just kind of taking a break from all this stuff. But also, I don't want to burn you guys out. Obviously, I don't want to burn myself out, and it's not the most sustainable format at the moment for me because I'm approaching 150 Rahi mocks, which I think I've probably put out like 9 videos or something like that. The occasional one featuring 2 Rahi. So that's really hard for me to do. To try and build these Rahi, make a video, take them apart, build the next Rahi, make a video, and not get burnt out. You know what I mean? I don't want to turn this thing that I love into work necessarily. But that said, I do acknowledge that you guys also are very curious about some of the things that I've created and learning about them. So that leads me into my next point, which is that I actually plan on releasing a volume of PDF style books. Basically, something kind of like the Rahi Guide from 2004 ish, but my own version of it with my own lore. So, under the guise of a new island, basically. This is a project I've been working on for quite a while, off and on, and I've kind of situated myself in a position that I'm comfortable with the project, where I'm going to have a team of Matorn. So notably 6 of them, but maybe more, because it's not about the elements or anything like that. Nothing too crazy. But anyway, I'm going to have them basically exploring an island that was recently discovered north of, Mata Nui, an island called Mota. I know it's not a super original name, but I think it fits. And yeah, so they're going to be exploring it and documenting all of the different Rahi on the island. The reason I want to do it in volumes, again, is because I don't want to burn you guys out either. No one wants to sit through a book and look through 150 Rahi in one sitting. But also so that I can release these at a steadier pace, if that makes sense. Because 150 Rahi is going to take a while to make a book about, to write, little information, descriptions, whatever, about them. Yeah, so I want to go ahead and be able to do this for you guys. Again, of course, not burn myself out. Sorry, I apologize for lowering my arm there. I'm trying to focus. Now I'm walking around the creek behind the park, but yeah, so that is a pretty major step for me. I'm actually trying to get internet at the house right now so that I can be more active with that type of content, but also in the community, which is kind of where my next point was going to be. I do want to be more active in the community, and so one way I want to try and do that, of course, is to engage with, others in the community, whether they're my fans or whether they're, from Discord, from Instagram, from elsewhere, and just be able to do like little Q&A things or little workshops, teach you guys some of the tips and tricks that I've learned over the years of building, or tell you about my inspirations and the people who have inspired me, and because at the end of the day, I need to yawn real quick. I thought I took my drink with me today, but I didn't, so that's okay. But yeah, so I would just absolutely love to be able to put out content like podcasts for you guys, or actual like videos where we can sit down, do Q&As, a building session, what have you. And again, little workshops so I can teach you guys some of the stuff that I've learned, some of the little, because there's a lot of little creative things that I've discovered just throwing pieces together where I'm like, wow, I never would have thought of that had I not, used these 2 pieces together in this orientation or something, or teaching you guys little functions that I've come across. Sometimes the way I used to treat my uncle when I was younger is I used to look at the original line from 2001, rather, I guess you could say the golden years, as like untouchable. I could never create something like that because it was perfect. Well, there's 2 flaws with that logic. It's not perfect. That's just my opinion. Especially as a kid, I saw it as perfect, and nostalgia definitely tainted that. But also, I could create just as good a stuff as them if I changed my definition of what good was and I actually put myself out there and tried. In the end, I set up these barriers that I couldn't ever, try to approach because I was holding these builds, these Rahi, these different things up to such a high, unachievable standard that to me it would depress me if I wanted to build something, because I could just say, oh, I'll never achieve that. I'll never make a Rahi with a function, or I'll never. But I've realized that functions don't have to be anything crazy elaborate. They can be. They can be a lot of different linkages and things moving around. But they can just as easily be a wheel rolling and running into a leg or something and kicking the leg up and down, which has been one of my favorite functions and a very simple one. At the end of the day, a lot of what holds you back, a lot of what held me back as a beginner when it came to building was that I didn't try. I held 2001 up to this unachievable standard, and anytime I didn't achieve what they were able to do, I would scrap what I was building before I ever finished, And again, experience also helps. I was never a master builder by any means when I first started building, because I've only been doing this for a few years, and saying that, I don't mean a few years consecutively. Like, if I had to say the amount of hours I've spent on building Bionicle MOCs, I would put it in like the 100s somewhere. It's not that much. It sounds like a lot, but it's not, because I've come to the realization that it's more about what you think you can achieve, and then you sitting down with the palette that is your pieces, your medium, and building something out of it. Sometimes you create something that's exactly like what you thought you were going to make in your head, but other times you create something completely different. Like you try to make a crab and you end up making a hummingbird, and I say that because that's something that actually happened. That's a different story, but it's just never about limiting yourself. It's more about seeing something through, going back every once in a while if you need to retouch it, and staying within kind of your comfort zones, but also experimenting, changing your definitions of the things that make you happy, so to speak, because I used to be a purist. I used to be, I guess you could say, a classicalist or something, where I only wanted to use pieces from pre-2003. And I know there are some of you out there. There are a lot of people who think, oh, well, this isn't classic because it's using pieces released later. That's okay. At the end of the day, it's all about what makes you happy. You're building for yourself, and if you want to build a fan base, they'll find you. You're not going to make everybody happy. That's not important. As long as you're making yourself happy, you're happy with the content you're able to put out, then do what makes you happy, and your fans will find you. So those are like the major things. I do have a couple of other things that I just want to go ahead and touch on, but nothing too notable. So a couple of weeks ago, I actually went online onto Bricklink and ordered a couple pieces and stuff, and every once in a while I'll check on there for like a chrome house and things like that, because I used to have one and it got destroyed, unfortunately. Long story, I'm not going to go into that right now, but I found one on there that was very damaged, and so with it being damaged, it was cheap. I decided, hey, I'm going to buy this because I knew something, and I've known this for a few years now, or I should say I had a hunch, and I've confirmed it recently, but that when Lego puts chrome or puts paint over a piece, especially from like the early 2000s, late 90s and stuff, typically that color or that chrome is plated over a similar color. So that way if it scratches, you're not seeing this bright red show through chrome, you're seeing like a gray show through. So it's a little less noticeable. Still noticeable, but less. Same with like the painted drum lacquered gold colors they used to use in the 90s being painted over tan and things, because tan is, I guess, the close approximation to gold paint. But yeah, and so that held true for the how. I figured to myself that it was likely that Lego was using a light gray how beneath the chrome. So I ordered one online that was damaged, and it came to me and there were just a bunch of holes in the chrome and stuff, and I could see that it was gray under there. I knew it was. Again, I did get confirmation before even attempting to do this that there was gray plastic underneath. And I actually went through the chemical process of removing the chrome, removing the clear coat, removing the lacquer and stuff that's all underneath there that helps it stick to the plastic. So I brought my bag with me today so I can kind of show you this, because gray is actually, I think, the one color that I have all of the masks for, as interesting as that might seem. And that applies here. I brought some other things with me too, but I'll just go ahead and show you real quick. I'll try and open this with 2 hands. Let me just lay my phone on the ground for a second and just grab a couple masks out of here. Oh, sorry. Yeah, and I'm at the park, by the way, if I haven't mentioned that already. It's also windy, so bear with me. All right, so this is a gray, light gray, so New Jews color gray, Ruru. Personally, my favorite shape of mask. Probably some others too. I know a lot of people that like this one. And this is a light gray Howe. So again, I'm going to try and get this without... I think I'm going to have to go to a different spot so that the lighting, the backlighting isn't as harsh as this. So let me go ahead and do that real quick. I'm going to continue walking, but yeah, I actually got myself a light gray Howe, and I am super happy with it. The process that I went through was actually a fairly easy one. I've tried this twice, again, both times with damaged chrome Howes, because I wouldn't recommend doing this to an original chrome Howe if it was in like mint condition, because then you're just losing out on that piece. You're taking it out of the pool of parts, so to speak. But if it's damaged, you know, unless you like the battle damage kind of look, then this is another option for you. And it gives you a color of mask that isn't available otherwise. So I'm going to head over here underneath this roof real quick and hope that things don't blow away. This might give us a little wind protection too, but I think it's coming out of the east here, so it's not really going to do too much for us. But, or not the east, the south, my bad. Doesn't matter. Alright, so let me go ahead and just lay this back down for a second. Now we've got better lighting. And, yeah, so this is a light gray Howe. Or sorry, Ruru. My favorite mask. This is a dark gray Howe, and this is a light gray Howe. I'm trying to be able to see while I do this as well. And you can see the colors are identical. It's the same plastic. It's and it looks so good. So yeah, the chemicals that I use, and I'm from the U.S., so I don't know if these chemicals are available elsewhere. Go ahead and close this up. Sorry, you can still hear me. So, but I used a chemical called Purple Power, which is a detergent for like cleaning cars and stuff, or cleaning just moderate stuff. It's not a terribly powerful detergent, which is good. It's not gonna like hurt you if you get it on your hands or something, although I wouldn't recommend doing that. But get this out of the way too. And I apologize for the wonky camera if you guys are I can't get my bag back on. I don't want to drop my phone either. That's more important to me than my bag. So, but yeah, so if you guys are interested in this type of stuff, I use a chemical called Purple Power. There's another like equal chemical called Super Clean, basically the same stuff. And I put it in a cup and submerged it for like 2 hours. And then I ended up moving all of that liquid and the mask into a baggie so I could kind of agitate it more. And I hung the baggie in front of the sun, which seemed to speed up the process, so in front of a window. But it also yellowed the lacquer quite a lot, which is a neat look, if that's what you're into, because it gives you kind of a dark tan little color, it's still very shiny, you know, it still gives you, yeah. But to remove the lacquer, because that is actually a very durable coating, I used rubbing alcohol, and I just submerged the mask in rubbing alcohol for maybe 10 minutes. It did not take long to soften the lacquer up, and it's still a bit of elbow grease to kind of get the lacquer off because it kind of melts into the rubbing alcohol, so it's a little gummy, although it doesn't like smear or smudge or anything like that. But yeah, and then after that I just took a little cotton swab or a cotton ball, in my case a cotton face pad, but same stuff, and just kind of kept rubbing on it until I get it off, and used cotton swabs and toothpicks to get it out of the small crevices. And yeah, it worked out. It was, you know, a little bit of time spent doing it, a little bit of I guess I don't know, you got to be a little patient with it, but it's fine. But yeah, it worked out really well, and I was super happy with the end result. So very happy with it. Aside from that, I've got, I think, like 6 more Rahi I need to render. I do need to finish one of them. It's not complete 100%. The build, I mean, in real life. But my Crocodile Rahi, which you guys may have already seen, actually, I did a video on it, so you probably have seen it. I still haven't put that in Studio yet. I just overlooked it completely. So I need to put that in Studio. I have the head finished, but I don't have the body finished, which is the easier part. Once I get that built up in Studio, then I can render it and put it online. That'll be, I think, my 142nd Rahi. I've got like 3 or 4 more that are just Rahi from the like Bionicle games that were cut out, or from like concept art and stuff that were cut from different Bionicle media, games, movies, stuff. So all that's gonna be really cool stuff. And yeah, once I get those all rendered, I should be at like 146, 147-ish Rahi, which is really, really good. Now, some of the Rahi you guys will see on my Discord are official Rahi, and I'm not counting those, although my numbers actually work out to be about the same, because also some of my Rahi on Discord are actually 2 or 3 in the same image, because they're just so small that they don't really justify their own render and their own little biography or whatever. So yeah, with those out of the way, it actually ends up, the math ends up being the same either way, so that's kind of cool. Trying to fit this in my bag and hopefully have it not blow away. Whew. Yeah, that might not actually work. The wind's blowing right at me here, so it's actually picking up my bag, which is moving my phone. But yeah, that said, once those are rendered, I'll be at like 147-ish Rahi, which is really good. Another thing I just wanted to go ahead and show you, because I'm not sure if you guys have seen it, is I actually got another thing in that package the other day, which is just a silly little thing. So you guys are all... Oh, hold on. Let me try and do this a bit more intelligent, a bit smarter. I'm not sure this is going to hold up. I didn't bring my phone holder with me, unfortunately, but that's fine. It's not a big deal. So I'm sure you guys have seen this piece before. It's a Matoran disc launcher from 2004. I don't know if you guys have seen this one, though, which is a Nestle Matoran disc launcher, or not from the Matoran, it's actually from the Paraka from 2006. But it's basically the same launcher, just a smaller scale, and in colors that launcher never came in. So dark bluish gray, Keat orange, and light blue, I think, are the 3 colors it's available in, which is really cool. It's a cute little thing. It's nothing fancy, but it fits these discs. It's a firm fit. It's really hard to get it, or it's difficult to get it in there. But once you get it in there, man, this thing is powerful. Like, it is surprising. I would be shocked if this does not fire farther than the original disc launcher. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video, I think, guys, because, yeah, the wind out here is a little bit obnoxious. But I will see you guys in the next one. Hopefully you guys like this video. I know it's a little bit long, and hopefully you sat through it. But if not, that's okay. Go ahead and like the video if you want. Subscribe, of course, if you want. I'm going to try to put out more content for you guys. And, yeah, if you guys want to see my Discord and my Instagram, I need to get used to looking to the camera, too. Then I will leave those linked in the description below. So I'll see you in the next one. Take care.